Yeah, I haven't figured out how I want to have guests. Like I want guests on mine too, but right now it's like perhaps a phone call in.
Right.
Because I don't have a good enough laptop or something to like do that kind of like streaming.
Right.
I lap no, so if I mean, yeah, it might have to be phone call related. But at least my mic is relatively decent. It should pick up the audio relatively fine. It's just like, what does it actually sound like when it takes place?
Yeah, I've had this Yeti microphone for like quite a while now, and it's it served me really well so far. I've had no complaints about it at all, other than it's got like that old like BlackBerry US micro USB. It's like that really thick one. Um,
Yeah,
I'm ready for everything to be like USB C. All right,
yeah.
so I'm gonna.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. And this is the mic here. It's called Fi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
It's decent. I finally got it to work properly. I thought it was working the whole time when I've been recording my videos, and the whole time my Audacity was recording audio from the laptop mics and not the actual mic.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly, they didn't sound that bad. But then, like when I finally got the mic working and I switched to the proper setting to record from the mic, it like
Yeah.
just changed everything. But it took about a good 50 videos to realize that.
It's the way it goes. It's live and learn, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, I'm about to put out a post so that way people can tell that we're live.
Is there? I should probably do the same thing. I have to go run and grab my tablet and bring it in. But do you have the Sony 55 mil?
The Sony 55. I've had it. I don't have it anymore. It's a
Oh,
really good lens though.
man, I know. I still dream about that lens.
You still got it, right?
No. That one I rented from this. I mean, it was at the
Okay.
camp. Yeah, and I did not change that lens out once I got it. I was suggested to use the 85, but everybody had rented out the 85
Mm-hmm.
at 55 or something different. I think I tried the full frame 24 to 70 out. That was cool. And I tried the 35 mil out. That was cool.
The 24 to 70 lens is. I just recently got that maybe a month ago. Um,
Mhm.
it's such a good lens. It's one of those like if you could only choose one lens, like that's the one
Mhm.
that you pick up. It's such
Yeah,
a versatile lens to get.
yeah, yeah. That's my battle right now because even though I really, really, really want the 55 mil, like or really I should reverse that. I really want a zoom lens, but I also really want the 55.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I got the 50 full frame, and then I still got my Sigma 16 for video. But I think that if it wasn't Sony, I think Sigma just released a 20 mil full frame for Sony camera.
Yeah, they've released a few different um, lenses recently. I want to say they. I don't remember the actual focal length, but it's like a 70 to 180 millimeter. I think is what it's called. So something
Wow.
to compete with the 70 to 200.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like I have the 70 to 200 G Master. If I needed another one like for another team or something, that would be worth getting. But I don't see myself getting that lens. Although I'm
Yeah.
interested in on. Um, if you're looking for like a quote unquote budget friendly that's not as expensive as like the Sony lenses, the Tamron 28 to 70 is really good. It's it's another lens that I don't think I'll ever sell. Kind of thing. It's just such a usable lens.
Yeah.
So and it does really well. Like it's sharp, the colors look good, all that kind of stuff too. All right,
Yeah.
so
Is that what
go ahead.
I was gonna ask? Is that what did you use for those shoes that you showed me yesterday?
Um,
Those came out real nice.
That's honestly a good question. I can't remember. It's probably, I like to use the 85 millimeter for a lot of portraits. And then I'm trying to remember what I used at each one. I really can't remember.
Okay.
Like at this point, I'll use, actually, it's the lens I'm using right now, which is the 24 millimeter G Master. And it's a really good lens. I like it a lot. And it's the widest lens I have right now. And then I'll use the 85 like for portrait type stuff. So between those two lenses, like from a wider shot, I'll use the 24. And then when I want like a portrait, or I'll even back up and I'll use that 85. The 85, I'll even use that for video stuff because I just like the look that it puts out. It puts out like this kind of dreamy kind of bokeh in the background. It's really cool. So I've used those between, like, if I were to gonna use like one lens, like I'm gonna use that 24-70 G Master like every time at this point. But that's a recent pickup. So, but beforehand, I think I'll use the 85 as much as I can for portraits. Even now, like if I was gonna bring a whole kit with me, I'd have the 85 with me for sure.
Okay.
But
that 24-70 is like what, 2,000?
You talking about the 70 to the 200? Oh no. I'm trying to remember. They're about the same price. The 24-70 and the 70 to 200 around the 2,000 price range.
Yeah.
I think I got the 70 to 200 from Lens Authority for like 1,800. So a used one. I ended up going with a new one at 2,000. I can't remember the web. Park Avenue Photography or something like that out of New York. But yeah, that's the setup that I pretty much use at this point. So like we can kind of get into the actual podcast part. This was the pre-talk. If you catch us on the pre-talk, getting all the links set up and all that kind of stuff pushed out there. But welcome to my podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about photography, the business of it, videography, basically anything. Creative professionals, just creatives, period. Myself, I like to do photography and videography. I shoot weddings, corporate, personal projects, all that kind of fun stuff. I've been a creative person my whole life. I used to draw, I used to paint, used to do all kinds of stuff. So it's just been something that's been part of me for a long time. So for today, like I'm going to be talking to Micah Woods. He is actually a Sony Camera Camper that I met up in Montana this last it was September, wasn't it? I think it was September. And as a matter of fact, it's like a bunch of the campers, we had this chat going on in Discord. And, you know, as everybody started flying out there, it's like, hey, who's here, who's there, or who's anybody at the airport kind of thing. And so I think the two of us, we actually met at the airport before we got to camp because we were like, we're just seeing if anybody was on the same flights and stuff like that. So we ended up being on the same flight on the way in, and so we were able to just kind of automatically connect. So that was cool. It's like, because I didn't know anybody that was going to the camp. Like I didn't know on the smaller YouTuber side of stuff that were going to be there. So it was nice to connect to someone right away. It's like, hey, I've got a buddy that I can hang out with now, and not have to worry about trying to make friends in a big crowd kind of thing. So that was pretty cool. I remember sitting up at the terminal waiting for our flight. That was our first interaction. So how's what was your impression of Sony Camera Camp? Is it something that you would do again?
Oh, definitely. I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it don't seem like it was very long ago at all.
No. Yeah, I would definitely do that again, especially if Justine and Jenna put it together again, and we could go again. You know, that would be fun. At least I know how to navigate it a lot better.
Right.
They got tutorial shops or workshops they had. So,
yeah, that was it was definitely one of the highlights of my year. That's for sure. The camp itself was a lot of fun, but then also I made an exploring day after the camp was over, so that was so worth it. if I could do it over
Hmm.
again, I might have tried to squeeze in 2 days for exploring because there's just so much to do there. I got to go up to the mountain areas, the Glacier Park area. It was about a 3 hour drive to Logan's Pass, is what it was called. A buddy of mine, Evan Lanier, he's another videographer friend of mine, and he was telling me like make the drive up there, it's worth it. Be at Logan's Pass at sunset. So that's what I did, and I'm glad that I did. And it was one of those. I use the pictures all the time. It's one of my favorite places I've ever been to. So just like that whole experience was a lot of fun for me, being able to do that. So, I mean, between making new, YouTube friends, making more experiences, getting to meet a bunch of the YouTubers that I follow all the time. That was
Hmm.
another fun part about the camp itself. And then learning a few things. There was a lot of stuff, like as far as like the workshops went, that I was like, I know a lot of this stuff, but then there was a lot of stuff I didn't know too. Probably the most informational workshop that I was part of was the YouTube one. So like, I can't remember the team's name, but it was YouTube's YouTube channel managers. So it's like obviously they're gonna know what they're talking about, and being able to pick up on some tips and tricks and things like that just for the YouTube side of stuff. That was pretty
Yeah.
motivating. And then just the connections, meeting all kinds of people, that was fun. And then of course the exploring day, like I'll never forget that stuff. Um, so how's life been since camp? Other than the
It's
last
been,
month or so, like let's not even talk. We'll talk about the coronavirus in a second, but how's
oh
life been
man.
between camp and corona?
Uh, it's been okay. Tell you the truth, last year, if it wasn't for the camp, it would have been one miserable year
Mm,
because in February, I don't know if I told you, but like in February, my car was in a hit and run accident.
man.
Um, and then I had to deal with that in February, and then sprained my ankle in June playing basketball. So it took me about a month to get back to walking.
Oh
And so
man,
like,
that's rough. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, and then camera cam popped up, and it was like, thank you, something good. But right before camera cam, right, I think it was literally right before camera cam, someone hit my car again,
Mm.
parked. It was this time, and somebody hit it, and I almost didn't go to camera cam. I was like, man, why is it happening to me?
Yeah, I understand what you feel like, man. It was not 2019, but 2018, and then going into 2019. So Hurricane Michael, the same week, I had a car wreck. It totaled my car. So that
Oh,
was just a rough week period because you get a car wreck and then a hurricane comes in like 2 days later. Um,
yeah.
so we held off on getting a new car for like, I think that was, I'm trying to remember the month where Hurricane Michael hit. Was it October? I think it was October. But so our area got hit pretty good. It was obviously not nearly as bad as some areas, but we got a pretty good damage around where I live. So between the hurricane and then that, and then we waited a couple months just to try to get into the car. We were like, let's just try to carpool as much as we can, save our money, not jump on a car purchase right away, kind of thing. Just try to wait for the right thing. But once
Yeah.
December hit, it got to a point where like our family and appointments and all that kind of stuff, we were just going in so many different directions. Like
Uh,
just trying to go to business appointment meetings and things like that was kind of hard. And we're homeschool families, so my kids also have appointments with different kind of classes that are spread out
uh,
everywhere. So I was like, the first car that got wrecked was the Toyota Prius, and I was like, great gas mileage. Obviously not like this amazing car or nothing, but I missed the gas mileage. So I was like, if I can't get a, a Prius that can get good gas, I just want a fun car. So we found a Dodge Charger that was all souped up. Uh, it was red, white. I can't talk straight. White racing stripes, sound system, rims, the whole deal. It was like I said, it was a fun
complete
car. Was that?
the complete opposite of a Prius.
Oh yeah, by far. It was definitely the complete opposite. But like I said, it's like if I can't find a good gas mileage car, I just want a fun one for a while.
Yeah.
So a few months go by. I want to say I had it for maybe 2 months. Um, Stinking four deer run out in front of me in like my
Oh,
hometown. And so if you're not familiar with the Dothan area, there's what's called Ross Clark Circle. It's a big circle that goes around the whole city. And so it's an inner city type thing, and these deer come from within the circle. I'm like, where
Oh,
are they coming from? And like, long
yeah.
story short, it's
Oh,
like there's this one deer that ran out in front of the road. And I was like, dang, a deer just ran out in front of Ross Clark Circle. Like, that's crazy. That's like a busy highway type thing. And then as soon
right.
as I said that, the three others came out and I smacked one like full blunt. You know, a deer prance when they run. So I caught it on the downward part of it and just
Ooh.
pounded it.
Oh,
It went skidding for quite a few feet. Um,
oh,
and what's crazy is like when you looked at the charger, it like it didn't look like it was gonna be like a total kind of stuff, but it crunched everything between the bumper and then like the framework,
yeah.
and there's all kinds of control boxes and all that kind of stuff. And
Oh,
yeah, so I
oh,
was like,
man.
uh,
You were injured, weren't
what's that? No, nobody got hurt except for the deer. I'm really surprised that. I mean, we're fortunate. My daughter was in the car. It actually hit her side, like in the front. So that was her
you?
first wreck and stuff like that. So that was fun. But yeah, like I said, like I understand having two wrecks almost within the same season. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know, you don't even want to buy another car because you're like. And what I did at that point, I was like, I'm tired of my cars getting totaled out, so I'm just gonna get something that can do damage instead of get damage. So I got a truck this time. So like I'm sick of this.
Oh yeah, I definitely want a truck. That would be a future perfect purchase for sure. But yeah, leading up to camera camp, man, I was stressed out. I was like, man, I need to go to this camp. I got the opportunity. We got to make this work. So we
Hmm.
ended up making it work. And then we ran into each other at the, damn, where were we flying from? You remember?
Flying out of
Yeah.
Big Fork,
No, no,
Montana.
that's where we flew to, right? That's where we flew into, right?
Oh, what was
Big
the
Forks in Montana. We hadn't made it in Montana yet.
was it Colorado? I
I
can't
think it
remember.
was.
I can't remember the connecting point,
Either, but
the
yeah,
layover.
I think you may have reached out in the Discord. It was like, is anybody at such and such a terminal? I was like, oh yeah, I'm over here.
Yeah,
And then like had to labyrinth our way together.
I think it was
But yeah,
Colorado because I remember all like the gold mining decorations and stuff like that. I think it was
mhm,
Colorado. I
okay.
I, I think.
It was probably was. I'm trying to think where else could it have. It wasn't Minnesota.
Nah, I think it was Colorado. I'll have to go back and look at the plans.
Yeah, it may have been Colorado, but yeah, we that YouTube class was dope.
Hmm.
The class that probably affected me the most was probably the gimbal class because I just felt so dumb in that class. I couldn't. It took me a minute to understand how to put the gimbal together, and I
Yeah,
felt like I was slowing the class down. I was like, "What is this?"
yeah. I took that one too. I can't remember if we were in the same class because they offered it multiple times, but I was
Yeah,
pretty familiar with the Ronin stuff. But again, it was one of those situations where you kind of, even if you know a lot of stuff, you're not going to know everything, and there's a few things to learn from. So I was pretty thankful for that
yeah,
class too.
yeah. Once I got the gimbal together, then it was cool. It was fun trying to understand how to work the gimbal, but putting it together was crazy.
Yeah,
And then
once you get, but like with gimbals, once you like figure out that sweet spot kind of thing, like
yeah.
it's pretty simple every time after that.
Oh yeah. Shoot, what I probably do is not take it apart. I'll just leave it together.
Well, that's the good thing about the Ronin SC is that it's got those locks to where you can lock them in place. As long as you use the same camera and lens setup, you shouldn't have to rebalance it every time. You can still, it'll do the auto balance at that point.
Yeah, I know the one lens they said was tough to balance on it was a 24 to 70.
It's a
And I
heavy
think
lens.
I had that lens on my camera when I went to that class. I had to go switch it out for the 35. And then once I had that on there, it was cool. I just wish I probably got a tighter lens, considering went to go shoot like the rodeo,
Hmm.
the ranch stuff. So like the 35 looked good from like the Wild Wild West wide
Right.
kind of, but to get the horses in action and whatnot, it was a bad. It's like it was a bad lens to pick up, but it was a good in terms of quality.
Yeah, that was actually I picked up the 24 to 70 G Master to test out, and that I think after using that, and then with the experience with the Tamron 28 to 70, I was like, this is gonna be the next purchase because it's just such a versatile lens. So they
Oh
sold me
yeah.
on that. I was hoping that what was it that I was hoping to get my hands on at the time? I think the Sony A7R4 had just come out,
Yep. Yep.
and I think that all got rented out before. I've got
The
the
six
R3, and then
and the 600 had just came out too.
the 6600. It wasn't even. I don't think you could even purchase those at the time. Like it was
Now, I
just
don't think,
announced, but they had them on hand, so that was pretty cool to see that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It was. I tried to take the Final Cut Pro class, and
mm,
for me, like, I edit off my tablet, so I use PowerDirect on Android to edit. So
yeah.
I don't even use a MacBook, like nothing. So it was
Hmm.
already new territory, let alone just looking at the tablet, trying to
Right.
move it, trying to operate. But the dude who was, I guess he's like an expert in
Hmm.
Final Cut, was moving so fast through the basics, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like, yo, I'm still on step two.
Yeah, it's I thought about taking that class, but I've been a Premiere Pro user for a long time. I actually recently got Final Cut because I want to try to learn both just as much as the other, and
Yeah,
then potentially wean myself off of Premiere Pro. But I don't know if I'll be able to do it or not, just because
yeah,
just once you get used to one system,
one,
it's just hard to go between
yeah,
another one. But there's some benefits one or the other kind of stuff. I started on Premiere Pro at first because I was on PC. That's what I started with, and then
yeah,
also just knowing the fact that I could go between PC or Mac and still be able to use the same program and not have to be stuck in one ecosystem. Although, like I'm pretty much all Apple at this point, anyways. I still use Android as like a secondary device, but as far as I got a MacBook and iMac or a MacBook and a Mac Mini as my two computers, and then
yeah.
I've got a iPhone and all that kind of stuff. So just the ecosystem is good.
Yeah, that's. I don't have a. I need to get a new laptop, and I don't know if I'm going to get a MacBook or like a really nice Chromebook,
Hmm.
just because I really don't use laptops like that anymore.
Yeah,
So for me, like if I was to do any switch over, it might be from my Galaxy Tab S6 tablet to an
hmm.
iPad Pro,
Dude,
and
like
then
you
I would
should for
loop.
your YouTube stuff, like you could almost use that angle as you just only use tablets and like Chromebook type stuff to edit with, and kind of prove the fact that you could still do quality work on mobile devices like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I would like to try a Chromebook out
Hmm.
to see how, if not, I could get the same. Uh, because Power Director does have a PC version too, aside from their
Yeah.
mobile version. This, if not use that, see if Premiere would work on a really nice Chromebook,
Hmm.
and see, if that's feasible.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it would be hard. I mean, like I said, if I was to switch over to an iPad Pro, it'd be LumaFusion, which is a mobile
Hmm.
editor, but it's very Final Cut ish. Is from what I've heard. I've seen. I don't know. Do you follow John Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's put out a few videos using LumaFusion, editing on LumaFusion,
Hmm.
and and shows just like how capable of an editor that is on Apple's platform. So that would be the only other alternative for me to edit stuff. But when I went into that workshop, I was lost. I was like, why did I do this? I should have went to the mountains.
Yeah. I know. Like an option that I've looked at is if I am going to wean myself off of Premiere Pro and go with the Final Cut route, is like I would use Final Cut as my video editor, but then the Adobe, you've got the photography package that you can subscribe to, which has Lightroom and Photoshop because I need those for the photo side of stuff. But when you do that, you also get Adobe Rush. So that's like the lightweight Premiere Pro program. And Premiere Rush is also on mobile devices. So that's a possible win in that department too.
That's true. I saw somebody, I think it was Tao. You remember meeting Tao?
Hmm.
I think she had a video showing Premiere Rush on Galaxy Tab S6. but I can't find the app in the Play Store. So I don't know if I have to go to the website to download it to try it, because that did look like a decent editor.
I think it's got to be supported on your device. I'm not sure what device you're trying to download it on, and you might be able to side load it if it's Android, because sometimes you can do that too.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm gonna try to do, because I really did at least want to try Adobe Rush. It's just like you said, when you're so used to one system, it's hard to move on from it.
Yeah, I don't use Rush probably nearly as much as I should. I just end up going back to Premiere Pro because that's just what I could flow in better. But like, it's like iMovie on steroids. Like, you get quite a few more features and stuff, and you can like titles and transitions and all kinds of stuff like that. It's definitely a lot better than iMovie. But yeah, that's an option that you could consider. That's a route that I've considered going. One, price wise, like ballpark figures, full price, you literally save about half as much money if you go the Final Cut route with the photography package with Adobe, because Final Cut, and then right now, like if you can get deals with either the Adobe Suite stuff or Final Cut packages, because they got deals going on for the coronavirus stuff. So yeah, I think like $200 or something like that's, and you get the whole package, not just Final Cut. And then I want to say you get a percentage off with the Adobe kind of deals.
Yeah.
So you've been trying to build a business. How's that been going?
Yeah. Speaking of, that's what Camera Camp gave me, that idea to maybe try to pursue this a little more than just a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Because I probably told you, this is my first time using the camera. Like, I got this in July, and it was my first experience with everything using the camera. And I think November, I bought Matt's 50 mil off of him, the full frame 50 mil f1.4 from my Sony A7 III. And so right then and there, when I finally got like a more photography based lens, I started going haywire, at least shooting my wife. Like, my Instagram is
that's good, bro. I mean, that's how you get practice. You just gotta get out there and shoot.
Yeah. And a couple of my friends, they wanted to try a shootout. They're like, "Yeah, we'll help you out. We'll do a shoot." And we went out to one of the, I think River Walk out here in South Carolina. But it runs forever, so I think it's through Mississippi. It's from Mississippi, I think, but don't quote me. But we went out there, took some pictures. They came out really nice. They liked them, and they're like, "Yo, we want you to shoot our family whenever we get our family together." And I was like, "Oh, nice." And then yesterday, which is why I reached out to you, another friend of mine was like, "Yo, we want you to shoot my son's senior pictures." And I was like, "Oh my, how do I do that?" And so I'm over here all kinds of like, how do I go about this? And then like when I saw your pictures, I was like, "Oh, whew. All right, it's not
that." I would say, like, one of your questions was like posing and things like that. And I would say that's probably one of my biggest struggles is posing, because like everyone's different. The more connection you have with the clients, the better. So like if you can get to know them more beforehand, that helps out a lot. And but like there's times where I've done, pop-up photo shoots, or like I've never met the client before shoots, and it's hard to gauge how they are. And I try to be as interactive as much as possible, just like normal conversation, cracking jokes, having discussions and all that kind of stuff between everything. Like the BTS video that I showed, or I published yesterday, that one, there was a part in there, like I hope that people kind of catch it, is like, the couple's asking, where do I put my hands? What do I do here? What do I do that? And this point mostly goes towards like romantic couples, not necessarily families and stuff. But you can almost apply some of the principles I'm about to say. Is like my goal and desire is to make the session an experience, not just like a photo shoot. So it's like the better that we can just, some of the candid stuff ends up turning out to be better than some of the post things anyways. So like I can help guide and coach about some vibes or something like that, or like some different little minor details that help make the image better. But
Yeah.
like the images that I like and most other people like, as far as like my clients go and like just my style and stuff, it's like the candid kind of things. So you try to figure out ways to bring out that kind of stuff. I've
Mm.
watched numbers of videos, I've read numbers of posts, just trying to get ideas and things like that. So, um, like some of my, if I just run out of ideas, like there's a few fallbacks that I'll go to. Again, going back towards like um, couples and stuff, is like have the guy whisper in a silly voice their favorite cereal or something like that. Like in your best Batman voice, tell me what your favorite cereal is, and just how do you like it or whatever. So it's like it's something goofy and it's going to make someone laugh and you're going to get those emotions, and that's what's going to make those images pop. Other stuff
Yeah.
I've done with group shots with single people, almost anything is like, all right, I'm going to count to three and I'm going to do about 5 times. Every time I say three, change your pose and do something different. So it makes them, it kind of puts them on the spot, and then they just move and do something. And then like half the time, those are, you'll get at least 1 or 2, 3 good images just from that.
Yeah.
So it's like figuring out those kind of ways to connect with the client, but also, like I said, it's like coach them on the beginning. Hey, this, like the couple session, especially, um, it's like, yeah, this is a photo shoot, but like this is time together. Like this is time that you get to separate your schedule and all that kind of stuff. You get to literally be with that person that you are in love with. Like, let's make this an experience. Let's make this to where it's like actually, something that you'll remember, not just a to-do list. Like, we got to go get some photos done kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in that, usually when I've done that, I'm not perfect at doing it every time, but that usually kind of takes the load off. They're not as worried about the poses or like, where should I put my hands? What should I do here? What should I do there?
Yeah.
And things like that. So like kind of go back to
Break the
your,
ice, basically.
what's that?
Helps break the ice.
Yeah, it's just,
Other thing
it
down.
just takes that pressure off. You know what I mean? So like the more personable, the better. But that's like my style. That's my goal. That's the clients that I try to attract to. Some might be a little bit more higher end to where they are going to be strictly posed and all that kind of stuff. And that works for some people. That's just not my kind of thing. But like other kind of like senior portrait kind of stuff, Trey, he's the examples that I showed you. We went downtown, he had his car, all that kind of stuff. And guys, like I think guys are actually harder to pose than girls.
Yeah.
Because like, and then my wife and I, we watched this video. I'm trying to remember what the channel was, but long story short, it's like if you have hands in pockets and things like that, they say it's a wasted limb. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
that makes,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. And it's such a go-to thing. All right, hands in your pocket, just put a hand in a pocket. Like, why do guys always have to put a hand in a pocket kind of thing? Like, that's just it's such a, every photo shoot goes like that, whether it's a wedding
Yeah.
or senior portraits or whatever. So like in that particular session, that's when I learned that kind of stuff. So I learned like, make him, grab his chin or something like that. Or, you can even do folded arms, just kind of make him, there's like all these different points that you can have him do that are different than just putting your hands in your pockets kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And especially like he had, not that he could work the camera, but he knew how to like, okay, this is going to be a cool shot. So it was like him in front of his car, so kneeling down, just kind of like, posing a little bit, not trying to look like a boss kind of thing, but just like, he is the primary subject of the image. So like, let's make him stand out a bit,
Yeah.
and just have fun with that too. And that's another one. I don't think I told him to do the 1, 2, 3 change, but like he would have been a good candidate for that too, because he would have just, worked the camera a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You follow Chris Howe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know him and his I think they're engaged now, right?
Yeah,
Lizzie?
Yep.
Yeah, they put out a couple videos about poses and
Mhm.
especially like sitting down poses to
Right.
kind of open up your body when doing that.
Yeah.
That kind of helps keep some things in mind too.
The
And
psychology
like,
that
yeah,
goes into it is pretty interesting because it's like if you
yeah,
like their reasoning. I remember watching that video, and I remember hearing, I think when it was some kind of counselor advice and stuff. It's like when you're talking to somebody, don't have your arms folded, don't be crossed over because that shows closed off. Unless that's the look that you're going for, but
right.
otherwise be open and then like posture and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that man, this definitely helps a lot. Because
Hmm.
I was looking at those, and it definitely helped disarm me just in terms of the pressure or not going in there,
Hmm.
just crazy thoughts. Just seeing like, oh, okay, just keep it. Just in other words, keep it simple in ways,
Right.
just make it fun. And then that's why I asked you about like the props and stuff. They looked like you was at a school, so I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Like,
Hannah, she's the one that had the horse pictures, and she's a softball player. So we changed locations probably 3 times. So
okay,
she had, baseball bat, mask, her
great,
jerseys, stuff like that. So that's all part of planning and whatever. So like one of the questions that I'll clients and stuff, especially for like a senior portrait shoot, like, are there any props that you want to bring? Are you part of any clubs? Anything that extracurricular sports, anything, and that's how you can kind of change that up. So obviously
yeah,
the softball one, we were able to go to the softball field and play around there, and then she's
mhm,
big into horses, so she went to the land where her horse was at, so we got some shots with that, and then um, there's a park nearby to get more of like a formal type look. So that was fun to be able to change pose or change places and stuff. Trey, downtown, we just 3 different blocks gave us 3 different looks. A lot of times there's places like that where you can literally just like, okay, let's look this direction, let's go this direction, go that direction, and you got 3 different looks just from turning around. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, and then the other one that was actually at a friend's house. He
okay,
wanted his Jeep, so like that was a big thing. Like he just got that Jeep, so that was gonna be a big part of his senior portrait. So just some normal poses, stuff like that. Then took his Jeep on a couple spots where you could really get that Jeep climbing kind of stuff, and by a little
yeah,
pond and country look.
yeah. So when you're shooting these, especially with the 1, 2, 3 change pose kind
Hmm.
of techniques, are you like shooting at like high shutter speeds or like kind of minimize blur and stuff like that?
Um, if you can get the person to go in sync of the three, you can. I normally, it all depends on the conditions. So much I shoot with flash most of the time, so I'm looking for the background. So normally it's gonna be a pretty big shutter speed, anyways. So I normally
Okay.
don't have to worry about blur. What I have to worry about using flash is catching the pose on the flash pop.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if you're not using flash, it's a little bit different story. If I'm not using flash, I know that there's gonna be movement. I try to make it to where I would say 320 shutter speed or higher, but you got to expose
Mhm.
for the subject. If you're not, so I guess the tip of the day is like if you're shooting with flash, you expose for the background, and then the flash fills the subject. But if you're not using flash, you expose for the subject, um, so that way you can see the subject well. But if I know that there's gonna be a lot of movement involved, 320 or higher is like a go-to for me. But just
Mhm.
mind like the higher you go, shutter speed, the darker the image gets. Um,
Right.
but like with post kind of stuff, even if they're doing that 1, 2, 3 change, so like 1, 2, 3, you hold it, then you count out 1, 2, 3, then they change the pose again, and you like on the three, like that's when you pop, and so they shouldn't be moving around when you're hitting
Right.
the shutter. So
Okay.
then at that point, like you could have it at a lower shutter speed, 200, 150, or whatever's going to make the image look best. But yeah, you just do
Yeah.
like 1, 2, 3, pose, 1, 2, 3, pose, 1, 2, 3, pose, and you
Oh.
just pop it
Okay.
on when they on that downbeat. So
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Yeah. That
that's a
helps.
good go-to, man. It works for almost any situation, whether it's senior portraits. I do it at weddings. Wedding parties is good, especially because I was just wondering, like, once you get past the formal stuff at a wedding, like the standing straight, hands in front, hands to the side, what do you do after that point? Because once you're done with that, it's like, it's done.
Yeah.
But then you do that, the 1, 2, 3 change, they're goofing off, they're doing different stuff, they're interacting with each other. So you'll get a lot of good shots out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that definitely helps. That's one of the most, current projects I'll be working on is the senior portraits, and that definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
So are you a one man?
Who's the subject?
Shooting?
Like who's the subject?
It's somebody. It's a guy.
It's a guy.
And yeah.
What's he into? Do you know his interest and stuff?
No, I know her because we used to work with each other a long time ago,
mm-hmm.
and she's probably seen my work since I upload. Usually when I upload to Instagram, it'll default and upload to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my work is probably seen that way, and that's why she reached out. So we have somewhat of a connection that way, and when I get this, he plays basketball, so we have an immediate interest there.
Yeah,
so that might help.
Well, so there's where that's where you start building how you want to get the shoot done, because budget for like an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours all together, and you can change up your locations and just kind of plan out your locations. So like basketball, potentially like an outdoor basketball court or something like that would look pretty cool. And you can get it pretty creative with all that, because you got the basketball itself, then you got the fence, you got the hoop, all that. Shoes.
Oh yeah,
you can have fun with that.
I mean, depending on how big his hands is, can he palm the ball?
Right.
That's somebody too. But yeah, she said she wanted to shoot in a park, so that she already kind of has a location in mind. And then with the basketball idea, hopefully that park has a basketball court there. If not, like you said, I could try to get a location in there, and see if I can get it. Because for me, it's the first thing. So it's experimenting for me anyway.
Right. And then just plan like for maybe like 2 or 3 outfit changes. You do like the sporty one, then you do a formal one where it's like a some kind of button up of some sort, and then maybe like a casual one where it's a t-shirt or something like that. And then you get pretty much in that 2-hour time frame, you can get all kinds of looks with that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, did you share these like portraits and stuff on your website or your Instagram?
Most of it should be on Instagram or even Facebook. It'd be probably easier to go on Instagram with evergreencreative.co is the where I'll have that.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be yeah, I got them there. I don't have the full albums posted there, but
right. Yeah,
because that's just too much for but yeah, it's mixed in there. I got weddings, portraits.
Yeah, one thing I try to work on whenever I try to upload my stuff is, I'll upload maybe 2 or 3 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It's allows for 10. I'm not doing 10, but I'll do like 2 or 3.
Right.
And then I'll do like 3 or 4 posts. Whenever I shoot my wife, I'll probably do the whole thing, because it's funny, whenever I shoot her, that's where like more of the confidence comes out, is because like we'll go out for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'll shoot like 100 shots.
Right.
And I'll come out like 30 or 40 like really decent ones, and then like out of those I'll have like maybe 15 to 20 like really good ones. But like, because I'm just so granted, I can at least try to push some content, kind of show various different looks and stuff whenever we decide to shoot. So and I always ask other people permission if I do shoot them, if they're cool with me posting them on my Instagram and stuff like that. And that's what kind of helps break up only seeing her all the time.
Yeah.
But like I'll come out with 15 or so very good pictures out of just
right. Yeah, it's crazy how many photos that we actually take and then deliver. It's pretty amazing the amount that we can get through.
Yeah, man, I know that definitely helps a lot. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Website wise, when did you decide to establish your website?
I've always had like this. branding and marketing and all that kind of stuff, and then just the techie side of me. If you got a brand or a company, like I just believe that you need to have a website because of just Google searches, and I get
Mhm.
a good amount of inquiries just from the website itself. Plus, it's like a hub. Like you try to put all the information that you can without it being too jumbled, and it's all there, something to refer back to. So it's like all my wedding package information, corporate shoots, and frameworks of how all the packages go is all put there, and it just makes it easy to like, hey, go to this link. This has most of the information that you're looking for, and
Mhm.
it's a lot easier that way. And it's a good way to display like your best work and things that you're proud of and all that.
Yeah.
Also, like social media wise, instead of like sending 3-4 different links of all your social media profiles, if you got the links on your website, and you want
Yeah.
to try to get as much traffic to your website anyway, so it's just easier. Hey, go to evergreencreative.co. Everything's there that you need. If you need to reach me by email or phone number, social media, it's all there. You don't have to send them a whole list of stuff. So it just makes life easier. Plus, you can get, I like it when companies have an email address that's to their domain name as well, not like a at Gmail, Yahoo, and all that kind of stuff. To me, it looks more professional. And especially if you're trying to attract different clients and stuff, like I think that stands out that, you kind of look a little bit more professional that way. Not everybody
Okay.
does it
Yeah.
though. I've got friends that are like, I consider 10 times better quality than I put out there, and they have a Gmail. So it's just like whatever works for you. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. True. So, what did you use to actually build your website then?
I use Squarespace, and this is not
Oh,
sponsored by Squarespace, but it is a lot easier to use. I like clean, minimalistic looks, anyways.
yeah.
Like my BaneTech website is WordPress, and that's just been established for years at this point. And I'm not going to switch that
Um,
website over to a different platform because that would just be a huge undertaking. But starting from scratch, like it costs maybe a little bit more money than if you're going to try to do stuff all by yourself. But
yeah.
like, you see Squarespace ads all the time on YouTube, but like literally, like it's the truth. It's super easy to use. Like
Yeah.
it looks
There's
good,
another
and
one,
that
right?
I mean that's what I
Called.
like too. So
There's another one called like Liver, right? I think it's called Liver. Or
I haven't heard of that one, or I
okay.
haven't used it rather.
Okay. All right.
Wix
But
is
no,
another one,
like,
but to me, Wix is kind of, uh, I just, it is
like
like
Squarespace.
drag and drop kind of style, but I just, I don't like the UI of it or the functionality and stuff. Like Squarespace just checks off all the boxes that I want. It's
Yeah.
just easy to use.
Now,
It's clean.
like you said with Squarespace. So when you made yours, are you able to? Because since do you have your YouTube content on your Squarespace based website as well, or just your photography stuff?
Um,
Photography.
my business website has everything that I do. So as far as I've got two Squarespace websites actually. So I've got my joshuabain.com, and I use that one
Mhm.
as like, this is me and this is all the stuff that I do. And so I've got one route that, it's just my personal brand. That's the main stuff. But then I also got a link to, this is my company, my Evergreen Creative. And then I've got Bain Tech too. So that's how I got that set up. But with Evergreen, I put photography, videography, creative services, all that stuff on that as well.
Okay.
But yeah,
All
like
right.
I'll just put like if I used I use Vimeo kind of like as a archives kind of thing, but then I'm starting to use YouTube as what I display stuff with. It's not as pretty, but I think YouTube you end up getting better search results and things like that. So I end up putting YouTube on. I just embed the video into the post or the page.
Yeah. Because that's I think that's one of the things that probably my biggest questions is how to make sure I can keep my website, I guess, organized, but be able to have my YouTube stuff with my photography,
That's the
growing side.
like that's a decision that you might want to consider is like, do you want to have a brand or a personal brand, or do you want it to be all one thing?
Right.
So I'm a minimalist at heart. I would love to just have one thing doing everything for me, but it got really confusing when I had Bane Tech, my personal brand, and then my professional brand. So for a
Okay.
while, I had my name as my professional brand, and then I wanted to do more on a personal brand, like do travel videos, do like the life
Yeah.
of an entrepreneur kind of thing, which is like the stuff of what's going on right now. And that's just, it's
Hmm.
two separate audiences. It's two separate things
Yeah.
going on. So I ended up making Evergreen Creative Company as the professional brand. And it's been one of the better decisions that I've made as far as my entrepreneur journey, just because like
Yeah.
it's just too confusing to have. It's like someone that's looking for like a travel type videos or photography, like the how-tos and the different things like that. The experience is just a completely different audience or client base than my professional brand. My professional brand, they're trying to find someone that does that. They're trying to find a company that to accomplish their project, not
Right.
how to do it or like the experience or the vlogging type stuff.
Yeah.
So that's not that's something to think about. Like, and the earlier you can make that decision, the better, so that we don't get kind of pigeonholed into a certain brand label and whatnot.
Right. Because I think my idea was if I was gonna, or I should say, win now, but establishing a brand for my photography, I was gonna keep my name that I
Mm-hmm.
use for my tech stuff because
Right.
it's very apropos to what I do anyway.
Right.
So
Well,
I
it's like
consider myself.
look at Chris Howe. So
Hmm.
he's got their own professional brand that's not the same as his like YouTube efforts and things like that. Like those are two
True.
separate brands.
True. Now he does also use his name as his
Mm-hmm.
YouTube though.
But
So
it's a different brand altogether. It's like how media or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that's his
You're right. Yeah,
professional brand, but then his personal brand is just his name. Um,
yeah,
so that's kind of the route that I take at this point.
yeah, yeah. That's some good advice. It's stuff to think about because
Hmm.
I need to get a website relatively soon, I guess, especially if I'm gonna start doing more projects like this.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
leave a link in the description of the video because I'm not, uh, I don't have a sponsorship with Squarespace, but I have an affiliate program with them. So
yeah,
just as good, and I don't mind
I
making it. At
prefer
this point,
that.
man, like just to touch on the Corona stuff, it's like my business has taken a pretty big hit because it's all weddings and events mostly, with some corporate stuff. So between those three different categories, like none of that's happening right now. So anything affiliate
Yeah,
marketing wise, like that's been my strategy right now of just
yeah,
trying to get as much affiliate earnings as possible. Um,
yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah. That's I legitimately haven't shot other than a couple of days ago, and even
hmm
then it was very brief because we just stayed in our apartment complex.
hmm
But I haven't picked up the camera to actually do photography since like January, February,
yeah, I
and
yeah, I'm trying to remember the
that's
last photo. I
that,
guess it
that's
was a
I
wedding. It
don't
was
know.
like the last one that I did, which is back in last week of or first week of March,
Wow, yeah,
before the lockdown started going on.
yeah. Whew.
But like something I've been doing, I guess it's something like you try to find the best in any situation. So the coronavirus stuff, um, I started. I consider myself as media, so I'm a photographer and videographer. So what I've been trying to do is when I can go out and document different events and experiences that are going on with the virus. So I've been able to film some stuff like that. I'm working on trying to document just the experience with working through coronavirus crisis in my hometown. So I've got the support of local authorities and all that kind of stuff. Plus,
Yeah,
media is considered essential, so I'm legally able to still go out and do that kind of stuff without
yeah,
any kind of trouble. but still keep within all the social distancing guidelines.
Yeah. So how have you been since, aside from photography, dealing with, I like to call it Ronnie B, but
Rona.
YouTube hadn't been, YouTube hadn't been too friendly to saying it, so I had to come up with a code name. But how have you been since effectively March?
Yeah, it was. I want to say it's been Alabama. We were one of the last ones to adopt the stay-at-home orders.
Mm.
I want to say it's been about a week and a half. No, it's been a full week at this point. Yeah, because it was last Saturday is when we got like at 5 o'clock on Saturday is when it all goes in place. Like I said, I've been trying to keep up with my clients, still stay in communication with them. I've had a couple wedding cancellations, not even rescheduled, so that sucked. Just all the way around. It's not just about the money. It's just like, you look forward, you're talking to these couples, you're, making connections, you're making plans. Even just on the creative side of stuff, you're kind of like thinking ahead, like this is going to be a fun project. Like this is going to look different than anything else and different experience altogether. Just like, so yeah, it sucks to lose out on money, but just the experience too sucks to lose out on. But I've been able to reschedule a few, so that's good. The hardest part is not knowing when all this is going to end. That's been probably the biggest struggle. It's like we can make other plans, we can postpone to later dates, but it's like, is it even going to be over by that point? So that's been probably the thing I've struggled with the most. And I ain't gonna lie, the last wedding that canceled on me, I was in tears a bit. I was just like, this sucks. Like I don't enjoy this at all. I know, like, God will provide in ways that I can't even understand, but at the same time, the experience just sucks. Period. So
anything.
What's kept me like kind of going or having a positive attitude is like I still have edits to do, so that's helped out. I should be caught up with my backlog though, probably by next week or so. That's been a blessing in disguise in a sense too, but it's also opened up to where I could work on my personal brand more, which has been a goal for mine this year anyways, and to try to revive Bane Tech a little bit more too, because that's got potential to still do well. Honestly, like kind of, I guess regret is the best way to put it, but like Bane Tech, I should have kept up with it, and then it could have been a better stream of revenue, and it could have been like a fallback financially for a situation like this, to where I could still be earning more money from AdSense or affiliate marketing and things like that. So it's caused me I think it's causing everybody to step back and like reevaluate and kind of get on a better track or a better direction than what you were before. I think that's, whether it's good or bad stuff, I think everybody's had to adjust and figure out, what are we going to do next, and having like an A, B, and C in place.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. I definitely can understand where you're coming from, because at least for me, I still work a 9 to 5, so I was shut out of work after the 13th. So I was already, for me, I think that's partly why I hadn't stayed consistent with photography either, though, was because one, anything personal interaction based is basically shut down. Yeah. So I'm like, well, I've already been relatively consistent uploading on YouTube. Let's see how far I can take that before I, need a break. And so since the end of February, if not the very beginning of March, I've been uploading daily. Now that I have the time to brainstorm and shoot them up, and then just upload them every day. And like, thankfully, that's kind of helped me with my YouTube journey. But once I start coming across videos, because I've been also kind of weird watching YouTube. Like I watch YouTube when I work because I have the ability to do so. But when I'm at home, I'm not really watching YouTube like that. So when I do get the chance to watch YouTube, I'll run into videos like photography or something like that kind of re-motivates kind of shoot some of the rust off and get trigger happy again. And that's partly why I was able to get out. A couple of days ago, was like, man, I really miss kind of just shooting some stuff. Mm-hmm. And I want another lens, but this time kind of makes it tough. But I do want like a 70. I think they have a 75 prime, but like an 85. Mm-hmm. And I know Viltrox is a nice one. I've seen Viltrox's 85 look pretty decent compared to Sony's 85, mm-hmm. and not too far off in price. I think Viltrox might be $100 cheaper. I think that was like $400, and Sony is like $500, I think. But we're not talking no G Master. We're talking about regular, just full.
Yeah, the 85 is like, I don't have the G Master 85, but it's not even the Zeiss. It's just the regular 85, and it's a fantastic lens.
Yeah. So I've actually kind of started contemplating something that I might want to get soon to kind of push me more to use my camera. Mm-hmm. And still, like, I've been tempted to just even try to shoot stuff around the house just to see, like, if I could just kind of, test my creativity, Got the time. So that's, I've been struggling with that. I mean, for me personally, thankfully, unemployment kicked in, so that kind of helps keep things churning around the house. But it's definitely been tough not being able to leave the house too often.
Yeah, I'm a introvert extrovert, so it's like I get my fill of being isolated, but then I have to have my fill of being around people too. So yeah, my mental state doesn't do well when I haven't got out of the house to go, do stuff or do something.
Yeah.
Like, speaking back about the YouTube stuff, this week or this month, I don't know if you've heard of the Vita challenge. It's like, normally it stands for vlog every day in April or August, depending on what month you're in. And I started to do that, but then I was like, I like the idea of vlogging. I like the idea of sharing experiences and thoughts and, being able to express yourself that way. But it just wasn't turning out the way I wanted it to. I felt like it was too rushed. It was just too thrown together, too banged up kind of thing. Maybe like once I get past this backlog, I can take more time with stuff like that. But what I kind of discovered, what I liked doing more is just creating videos. So I changed it to video every day in April versus vlog. So it doesn't have to be like a vlog style. It can be just some sort of video created. Like, I'm technically using this live stream as a video for today. But yeah, it's like this time period. It's kind of like, okay, I want my personal brand. I really care about the personal brand. I want to do stuff with it. And I thought vlogging was going to be one of the ways to do that, but it's not. So, and a friend of mine, James Champion, another photographer friend, like, I created this video that was just some drone footage and then some of the short clips of different places I traveled, and I named the video I Miss Traveling. And I just I took my iPhone into my closet, recorded the audio, and put the audio with those video clips. And he said, like, that was one of your best videos you've ever put out. I'm like, it felt good.
Wow.
Like, and so I don't know if it's, in my opinion, it's not one of the best ones I've done, but but the point was like, he felt what I was trying to express. And like, that's what I want. Like, that's actually what I want to go after more, is it's just like expressing stuff through video in different formats and ways, and just vlogging wasn't going to be that. So if anything, I'm thankful for is like kind of finding my identity for this channel and effort.
Yeah. And here's some advice from someone who've been dropping videos every day. Remember that vlog also stands for video log, right? Mm-hmm. So vlog doesn't necessarily mean you have to do Casey Neistat style vlogs. A vlog is your tech videos, your podcast, just jumping in front of the camera and just recording something. And like, the sooner you can wrap your head around that, the easier it is for you to just, just do something.
To add to that, because that's a solid point. That's advice that I give to people that are interested in vlogging. Is like, nobody wants a daily report. That's boring. Like, and it's just not gonna work. Like nobody puts out videos like that are interesting. So
Mhm.
what, to use Casey Neistat as an example, he finds the story within the day that he wants to communicate. And this goes for almost any vlogger. It's like they'll talk about that one subject, and then they'll have, and I promise you, not all those video clips that they put into those videos are from that moment. They're not from even that day at times. Like it's from stuff that they've collected. And even when he was daily vlogging, like you weren't seeing like this 24-hour long video because that's impossible
Right,
to do. So like you find a
right.
story within that day or what you want to talk about in that day, and then you just put video to back it up with.
Wow. Yep. No, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. And for me, that's kind of what helped me shoot my short film. Like talk about ambition.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I got this camera, I was like, I want to do something crazy. And I couldn't even walk that well yet. And I put it in short film, like with a cell phone. And but like, for me, like we make films regardless if it's professional or not. And so like sometimes that's the motivation you gotta give yourself, is realize that even if it's something that's like something small, it's still considered a project
Mm-hmm.
or a film or a video or a blog.
Right.
And the only one to put any special emphasis on it is either you or the person that watches it.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, at the root of it, it is still a film or a blog or a video that you put work into. If you
Mm-hmm.
sat down and edited the video, that's a film. That's
Yeah.
how
That's exactly it.
I took an hour out of time to edit, to lay down audio, to lay
Mm-hmm.
down some tracks to make it sound nice. Like it's a film. I don't care what you
Mm-hmm.
say.
No, that's the truth, man. That's it.
So like that's what's helped me vlog or video every
Mm-hmm.
day so far, or since March, is just now having the time, but just thinking that like what haven't I talked about, or what can I dive deeper into, just in terms of tech.
Right.
That definitely helps me because that's at least another day. But
Right.
sometimes today I got to come up with something, and Sunday I got to come up with something, and then I probably finally take a break because I said I would after I hit 2,000 subscribers. But if I can just find Friday and Sunday, I can start Monday off as a break for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just for I've been uploading like crazy.
One of the cool things I like about that too is I can become more intentional. And when you're looking for the story to share, like you're trying to notice stuff more, you'll end up noticing things more versus things that might, in a normal typical day, that just might kind of be background noise. You might actually find a story within that background of what's going on. It's not just, you're not trying to just pull something at your butt. You're like literally like,
Right.
what's the story here? Like, what's the reason why this is going on right now? Or, what's, there's challenges out there. It's like, look on your desk right now. Like there's a story behind that item. Like talk about it, like you
Yeah,
could literally do that. Like if you're running out of ideas or don't know what to talk about, like take this little tripod, for instance, or something. It's like, there's so much that get told about that thing right there, like where it's been, like how I got it, why I got it, what's the experience like, just
right.
so many different ways you can go with that.
Yeah.
But
That's a good point because you probably just gave me an idea for today. I might talk about why I couldn't get my audio to work.
yeah. Right. That's funny. All right,
Oh,
bro.
man.
I think that's gonna wrap it up for this conversation. But I appreciate
Yeah.
you coming on and helping me get this podcast launched off and try to get that goal checked off and all that fun stuff. Now I gotta go back and try to, for the audio side of stuff, go back and edit the video, clean it up, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. No, it was a great conversation, man. This was fun.
Yeah, man. Definitely glad we have kept in touch and keep
Yeah.
helping each other out when we can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you're open to, being able to want to help, with some tips, advice, even on the financial side. I know I didn't ask about it on here, but, you definitely helped me give me some perspective there about range.
Right.
Even though I may not go as far as you, like at least I know a ballpark I can maybe stay. So
Yeah.
that definitely helps. And I appreciate that.
No problem, man. All right, where can everybody find you at?
On YouTube, My name is Versatile, so VRSATILE. You might have to click on search instead for me specifically because the actual word versatile pops up, and I think it's a rapper, and I didn't even know that. So that's what you want to find out. I do tech. I got a visual and audio podcast called Versatile After Hours. That's on most podcast platforms. So I'm on episode 13 this week, I think. I just started that not about 2 months ago. So I have that. And then on Instagram, my name is at Micah Woods 8. So MICAHWOODS 8. That's what I started. I've had Instagram for years now. I just left it there. And you'll find me there, and I do photography-based pictures there. No specific grid style. Nothing like.
I gave up on the grid a long time ago. My interests go in too many different directions for it to be concentrated. Yeah. Like for like a personal profile, like that might be another conversation another time. But yeah, I can't do the grid.
Yeah, I love what's his name, Alan Palander. Mm-hmm. He's a great photographer. His style is so cool, but I can't stay consistent like that in one color palette. It's too tough.
Yeah, if I had like one specific purpose or one specific theme, like if it was all about, I don't know, phones or something like that, I could probably dial it in a little bit more. But like even my professional work, it's like I've thought about splitting up. Like I said, this conversation can go on. But anyways, like I thought about splitting up my company with a wedding one and then like a corporate one, because the two different styles are they're way too different styles. But yeah, I don't got time for that.
Oh yeah, like you probably know Becky and Becky. Is her name Becky? Ooh.
Is it a couple?
Yeah. They're at the camera camp.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of his name though.
Yeah, they got like a very like desaturated kind of look to their work, and it's consistent across their video and their Instagram. And I just can't, man. You'll see pictures that are very vibrant. You might see some more muted ones. You'll see just more natural, realistic ones. Then I'll take a chance and jump out the window on some other one.
Exactly. Well, that and it's like my videos look different than my photos. So, I post both photos and videos. And again, like between a wedding to where that's more of like a softer look, my corporate stuff isn't going to look like a wedding. So it's like, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
All right, man.
It's tough, man. And then Twitter, I'm at Versatile MW because Versatile is taken. So MW stands for Micah Woods. It's just Versatile MW, no underscore, nothing like that.
Cool.
And then that's where you'll find me at there. I'm just chilling. You will see it on Instagram. I haven't uploaded in a little bit. I should be uploading a picture or so either today or tomorrow because I did get some shots in the other day. But I'm going to try to get back into doing photography as soon as I get out the house for sure. But I'm going to find something in the house. I haven't done self-photography yet. I have not taken the chance on just taking pictures of me yet.
Yeah. There's a lot of challenges out there right now with different brands and stuff challenging people to do stay-at-home projects and stuff. So you could actually win some prizes.
Yeah. I mean, hey, were you on my team? Oh, you were on me and Matt's team at Camera Camp, were you?
I was Team Justine, were you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was Team Justine.
Team 3 all day, Team 3. But yeah, I've seen everybody's names escaping me. It's another photographer. He was up at Camera Camp too. But I've seen his videos about doing self-photography, and really all you need is an app that pairs with the Sony camera and take chances like that. So I'm definitely trying to do that one of these days. It's just a little scary, but just that out of frame mentality, like I just know I'm doing it, or just I feel like it'll take forever to set up one picture.
Yeah, it definitely takes a while, especially if you can go with you can connect your phone to the camera and try to do the remote stuff depending on the shot that you're trying to get, or you do a timer. But then like you
Yeah.
have to set up manual focus and make sure that you get in the right spot. And yeah,
Ah,
like when I
man.
was in Montana, like the exploring day in Montana, I tried to get my those epic looking like you're standing on a cliff type shots and stuff, and then trying to set it up and make sure that I'm in focus, and then that
Yeah.
it goes off on the right timing and all that. Yeah, it's not fun. It's like once you get
Oh,
the results though, like the results are like it's worth it,
fantastic.
but it definitely takes a lot more time.
Yeah. So one of these days I'm gonna dive into that. But those are all my social media links: at Versatile MW on Twitter, at Micah Woods 8 on Instagram, and at Versatile, or just at youtube.com/C/Versatile.
And I'll try to put all the links down below in the video description and stuff too, so people can just click on it.
I appreciate it.
All right, man.
All right. Well, you take it easy, man.
You too.
Get to that video every day.
Yeah, that's every day. All right, man. See
All
ya.
right, man. Yep.